Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack interesting, sometimes challenging ideas, helping you cut through the noise. And today, we have a really unique deep dive. We're talking about The Matrix, but I need you to immediately clear your head of the sci-fi movie stuff. Our source today presents this Matrix as a, quote, real, living, breathing system all around us.
Yeah, it's a really provocative way to start. The author we're looking at basically says this system, this structure we live in isn't neutral. They're quite blunt, actually. They say it's designed to keep you asleep, broke, and compliant. That really sets a critical tone for, how we might look at our own lives.
Definitely. And the source itself, it's from excerpts of a piece called Deconstructing the Matrix, Escape the System, Build Your Freedom. So our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is to really get into the specific claims the author makes. How does this supposed matrix work, especially around money, economic freedom, and also mental conditioning? And then we'll look at their path out, what they call freedom. We hope this gives you some insight, maybe a different lens to view society, your daily routine. And as we go, maybe ask yourself what really stands out to you from this, well, pretty striking viewpoint. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Like we said, The Matrix, for most people, it's Keanu Reeves, right? Virtual worlds, action scenes. But this author wants us to ditch that idea straight away. What's the first really bold claim they make to force that reframing?
They don't mess around. The author says very clearly, I'm not talking about some sci-fi movie. I'm talking about the real, living, breathing system that's been constructed around you, designed to keep you asleep, broke, and compliant.
It's right there, the foundation. The idea that our reality isn't quite what it seems, or at least not as free or organic as we might think. It's presented as the actual experience for most people, not just a theory.
Okay, so if that's the big picture, asleep, broke, compliant, how does this real matrix actually work day to day? The author uses this really strong metaphor for how we get onto its path.
Yeah, the conveyor belt. That's the image they use. Put on it from birth. And the steps are laid out, Go to school, get good grades, and get a safe job. The critique here is that this isn't about you finding your own way of real prosperity. It's seen as more of a preset track, designed to make you fit into a specific role, a dependent role within this larger system. It suggests maybe less choice than we assume, a kind of predetermined path. That's a powerful picture, isn't it? Like a factory line for life. So what's the author's deeper problem with that path, with the safe job? What kind of person does it create? And maybe more importantly, what does it stop them from becoming?
Well, the argument is that this system trains you specifically to be an employee. A cog in a machine is the phrase they use. And that's seen as fundamentally different from being an owner or what they call a man of value. So the common idea that a 9-to-5 is a noble pursuit, the author calls that a lie. The real issue for them is putting all your hard work into building someone else's dream, someone else's company, which, they argue, stops you from gaining real control, real leverage over your own future.
Right, and it sounds like the system gives you just enough rope, so to speak. The author's description of the paycheck you get in this system is really stark.
It is. They say it's just big enough to pay your bills, but not big enough to buy your freedom. It's calculated, they imply, to keep you needing that next paycheck, always sort of treading water, which reinforces your dependence on the very system they say is limiting you. It's a subtle kind of economic control,
So, okay, if the normal path is presented as a prep, this sort of economic sell,
Right.
What's the author's way out? This is where the hustle comes in.
Exactly. And this is key. They frame the hustle not just as like a side gig for extra cash. No, it's positioned as a necessity. They state it really strongly. The hustle isn't optional. The hustle is a necessary escape route. It's the only way out of the cell they've built for you. And they make a clear distinction. It's not just about having a high-paying job. The real winners, in their view, are the ones who own the jobs, who own the companies, who own the assets.
Yeah.
It's that shift, from just earning a wage to actually owning the source of the value.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit from the purely economic side, the author also claims this matrix isn't just about your wallet, it's about conditioning your mind. How does the author suggest this matrix tries to control how you think?
Yeah, this is another big part of the argument. They suggest the matrix tells you what to think, what to believe, and what to be angry about. It's a pretty sweeping claim suggesting a kind of subtle manipulation of our inner world. The idea that our thoughts, even our emotions, are being guided by these outside forces to keep the system stable. It sort of echoes other ideas about, narrative control in society.
And one of the main tools for this, according to the source, is this constant stream of low-quality information and entertainment. How does that constant stream work to control minds, in their view?
Well, it's framed as a deliberate tactic to keep people distracted, weak, and soft. The idea being, if you flood people's attention with, like, superficial stuff, it stops them from thinking critically, from analyzing things deeply, from challenging the way things are. So it's not just what you consume, but what that consumption stops you from doing.
Right.
It dulls your drive, basically.
So it's more than just distraction, it's actually shaping values. The author also claims the system actively promotes a culture of victimhood and mediocrity. What does that actually look like from their perspective? What kind of mindset does that encourage?
Right, and this is a particularly sharp point they make. They claim the system tells you things like ambition is greedy and that discipline is a form of toxic self-punishment.
Mm.
It's like an inversion of, well, maybe more traditional values, suggesting the Matrix discourages the very traits you'd need to break free. Promoting victimhood maybe takes away personal responsibility. Pushing mediocrity stops people from striving for more.
Okay, so if that's the picture, economically trapped, mentally conditioned, what's the escape hatch? The author talks about the strong, saying they know better. What does knowing better actually mean here?
It seems to mean recognizing that real freedom is not given, it is taken. That's a core belief for the author. They completely reject the idea that freedom just happens to you or that a system grants it. Instead, it's something you have to actively build through hard work, sacrifice, and an unwavering belief in your own mission. It's got this like defiant self-reliance vibe, not waiting for permission, just doing it.
So to actually pull the plug, as they say, what are the concrete steps? What are the pillars they suggest for building this freedom?
They boil it down to three main things, and they're connected. Building a body that is strong, a mind that is sharp, and a bank account that doesn't depend on anyone else. These aren't just separate goals, you know. It's presented as a whole package. Self-mastery, independence, each part reinforcing the others to help you break free from those alleged constraints.
And this all circles back, really, to the author's central idea, that moment of realization, waking up and realizing that the rules of the game are rigged. It's a call to see things differently, but then what? What's the final challenge they throw down to the listener, to you?
Yeah, they put it very directly. It's essentially a choice. Are you going to keep plugging in, or are you going to pull the plug and start building your own reality? It's a challenge against just accepting things. It implies that once you see this system this way, you kind of have a responsibility to decide what you're going to do about it.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive into deconstructing the matrix definitely gives you a lot to think about, doesn't it? That core idea, the rules of the game are rigged. So, here's a final thought to ponder, building on this source. If, as the author suggests, the system is designed to keep you from true freedom, what personal rules might you start thinking about, or maybe even building for yourself, to navigate that reality they describe?